Yeah.
Good evening, Dragon Nation, and welcome to the Dragons pregame show. We are joined with Sean Fisher here first. He is one of the guys from Storied Rivals. They're based out of Zanesville. Sean, we've had the opportunity to watch some of your stuff and some of your company stuff. I know that I've seen you guys in action at some regional games. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do in your company.
Sure. So our company's been around since about 2008. Our founder, Aaron Sprague, he started the company after being a news anchor for WHIZ out in Zanesville, and then just wanted to switch it up. So started with basically the access and the knowledge he had with some coaches around the area. So I know John Glenn football up there in the Muskingum County area, Zanesville basketball. Those were some of the original programs. I came on in about 2013 when we really started to expand, when we went into the Columbus market, and then really a lot throughout Ohio. We have a team out in Dayton. We have teams up in Akron. We have guys all over the state. Someone's filming up in Burton, Ohio, which is by Cleveland by the lake. So we've got lakes and rivers covered tonight. So yeah, we've been going now for about 15 years. This is my 10th year doing it. Programs, teams will reach out to us, see the videos we do. They'll hire us, and we will cover their season, basically. We're along for the ride. So whatever special moments happen, we're here to capture to last a lifetime.
And that's great.
Hey, Sean, so I've watched a lot of your guys' YouTube videos.
Nice.
And if you haven't, tune in. They're phenomenal. Something that stands out to me, man, is you guys get like pregame videos. You get in-game videos. You're showing the key moments. Talk about process from start to finish in terms of editing, getting the good stuff, how much of it you actually sit on, and how much you have to put out, how you have to filter what you share, because they're phenomenal.
Well, definitely if we always want to keep our relationships with coaches and with teams, we definitely post all the positive stuff. Anything that's not good, I'll tell coaches we'll leave on the cutting room floor. That's between us. But we really try and pride ourselves to be as cinematic as possible. Tell the story of the game. Sometimes even if that means our team losing, we'll still show the highs and lows of that game. It'll always be tinted towards our team, towards the team that has hired us for sure. I like to say we're kind of like an NFL Films for high school sports. NFL Films is especially those just really slow-mo, beautiful, uptight shots. It's the emotional stuff you see. I mean, the things people love, like with sports movies especially, is, Friday Night Lights, Any Given Sunday, the stuff where you're really in the thick of it. You're in the locker room. You've got coach right there giving you all that insider information, because especially I think people love it because you don't get to hear that unless you played for that coach. You have no idea what's going on in the locker room. You don't know what kind of motivator they are, what kind of adjuster they are. So it's really cool. Thankfully, we have a lot of great coaches that have trusted us over the years. I mean, some programs, we've worked with, again, for about 15 years, like John Glenn football, 15 years, to the point where, teams from all over the area, all around Ohio, like Centerville, out in the Dayton area, just hired us on last year because they've seen enough of what we're doing with other teams. Like, all right, we need this for our program. And we like it especially because it can be a program builder. There's teams that will show our season-ending videos, our trailers, to their youth leagues, to people in their community, to really rally them around what's going on with the program.
So I got a follow-up to you. 0-10 or 10-0, which one's easier for you guys to handle as a team?
10-0, there's a lot of pressure because you have so many huge moments to get, and you want to show everybody some love. 0-10 can definitely be its own challenge. The videos usually aren't nearly as long sometimes, because we're not gonna, if we have a team lose 45-7, we're not gonna show all 45 of the other team. We're not gonna do that. And I made a post on Instagram earlier today for highlighting our teams that didn't make the playoffs, and it really is special with whoever we get to work with, because they're taking their hard-earned money and putting it towards us to showcase the best of what their program, what their team has to offer. Even if you're on a 3-7 team that doesn't make the playoffs, 20 years from now, hopefully you're still able to show your family, your kids, hey, this was who I was in high school. This is the type of player I was.
Yeah. And like I say, I've seen some stuff, a few years ago, we were kind of talking about before we got started here, you guys were following Berlin Highland girls around on their way to I believe it was the state championship that year they won. We
I believe
faced them
so.
in the regionals. I told you I didn't want to talk about that game. It was a bitter loss for us, but man, what a game it was up in Marietta. I got to see some of you guys' highlights afterwards. Kudos to you guys and what you all do. It's excellent. Your boss emailed me and said, hey, we want to come down. Man, it was excitement for me because I knew what kind of job your guys did. And we're glad to have you on the show. We appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about it. We know you're going to get some great action shots tonight. We appreciate
That's
you
the plan.
Here.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank you. Again, this was Sean Fisher with
Storied Rivals.
Storied Rivals, yeah. Storied
Okay.
Rivals. We appreciate him coming all the way down here from Muskegon tonight and letting us know a little bit about what he does. You guys, check them out on YouTube. Their social media pages are outstanding at what they do. Again, check them out. We'd like to thank Wendy's of Proctorville for sponsoring tonight's show. They brought us all of us here a little something to eat tonight. And again, we appreciate Juice and his company that he's put together with Wendy's and everything and sponsoring us tonight. We're going to be joined next by West Muskegon's AD, Pete Woods, here in just a few minutes. I know he's here behind us talking to Coach Cunningham, an old teammate. It may be a little difficult to get him up here and get him away from Coach. I know they're catching up on some things, but we're going to get him on here in just a few minutes. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about, while we're waiting on Coach Woods to come up here, and let's talk a little bit about, Coach Carroll, I know you're responsible for getting the Wendy sponsorship. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we've had a good relationship. Coach, even when we were coaching, they always supplied stuff for us. And I asked them down there, I said, hey, would you like to be the sponsor of, our show? And they were like, yes, all about it. What can we do? They want to be an active part in the community. Sarah Chapman-Vyers down there, she always bends over backwards to do whatever she's general manager does, just whatever she can do for us. So, folks, go down and give them your business. Let them know that you, when you stop in, that you saw us on TV and on YouTube, and you appreciate them supporting the Dragons.
Yeah, we do appreciate Juice Schmidt. He owns the Schmidt Family Restaurant Group, BW3s in Ironton, Portsmouth, Gallipolis. He's always supporting the Dragons and what we do. We can't thank Juice enough. He's went as far as giving our teachers gift cards at Easter time and around the holidays. Again, he sponsors a lot of our teams. Coach Buchanan coined the term a few years ago, Wendy's is winning. And it's kind of stuck, and Juice has kind of run with that. So every time the Dragons win, we'll send out a picture, Wendy's is winning. So again, we appreciate Juice and the Proctorville Wendy's for everything they've done. We're going to get Coach Woods up here. Again, he's back here talking. We're going to get him up here in just a few minutes. If we can get him away from Coach, he's coming up here. West Muskegon coming in 8-2. We've seen some games, seen some game film on them. I know they've got some impressive guys. And it's going to be an outstanding ball game. Coach Woods, one of you, Coach Cunningham, want to come over here, and Coach Woods on the other side. Couple old teammates.
Coach Woods, you're on the good
here,
side.
Sitting down beside us and talking a little bit, talking some football, some playoff football. We're going to get Coach Woods mic'd up. First of all, Coach Cunningham, welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Coach, unfortunately, is there a strawberry frosty here somewhere, Coach Carroll?
I don't believe they brought any Frosties tonight. Sorry.
Hey, well, listen, Wendy's is still winning, right? So that strawberry shake that I was able to enjoy before the game was a big part of our.
Well, you know what? Maybe we need to shout out to Sarah and Josh down there and have them run you one back down.
Hey, Sarah, Josh, if you have the time, I would love a strawberry shake. Let's make this happen.
We appreciate it. Coach Woods, we appreciate you coming on. I know you're catching up with Coach Cunningham a little bit. We're not going to tell how old you may be, but I'm just going to say I think I was a middle school student or a freshman student when you had a very important snap over at Marshall.
Yeah, that's been a while ago.
It's been a while. I remember that, being in the stands, exciting night. I think Coach was coming onto the scene over at Marshall and everything. Kind of talk to us a little bit about, you guys playing together later in your career, early in your career at Marshall, and how that friendship's kind of blossomed.
Well, I haven't really talked to Melvin in a long time, but it's a special brotherhood that people don't really understand, and you may not talk to somebody for a while, and all of a sudden we're out there catching up.
Right.
So it's a brotherhood that it's hard to explain, but it's a very strong brotherhood with a lot of our teammates. And I found out the other day that one of his assistant coaches is from my high school, Dickie Skettle. And I used to go to his dad's pizza shop all the time and get pepperoni rolls for $1. So, it's such a small world out there. But the thing I love about it is how athletics brings people together.
Yes, I agree. Coach, tell us a little bit about, we're not familiar with West Muskemee, where you're at, your school. I've read a lot. I know you guys have turned the program around. You've helped change the culture since you've got there in the last couple of years. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we're in the Muskingum Valley League, which is, we're located in Zanesville, Ohio, so it's basically around the Muskingum River. A couple years ago, what's really helped our football program is that we went to a big school and small school division. So we're not playing the likes of Sheridan, Tri-Valley, and John Glenn every year.
Right.
So we're playing schools our size, a little bit more freedom for our non-league. There's a lot of people that have helped change the culture here at West Muskingum. A couple years ago, we were in the middle of a 40-game losing streak. And we have a superintendent that's very supportive, a principal, board of education. We have tremendous booster groups that have pumped a lot of money into our programs. We've got coaches that are now teaching in our building. All of our coaches teach in the building. We have 6 periods of weightlifting a day in our school. That's just not helping football, but all of our programs.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree. That's something that I wish we were able to get here. We've done some things here. I know Coach was telling me about what you guys have been able to do, and that's outstanding. And congratulations to you guys. 3.5 hour trip down today?
About 3 hours.
About 3 hours?
We broke it up. I kind of know that trip between Zanesville and Huntington pretty good. We stopped at a rest area outside of Galplis and was able to do a walkthrough at Marshall. Some of our kids were like, you played here? Yeah? Really? So it was really good for our kids to step onto the Division I football field and see the facility. And, this is what big-time football looks like.
Yeah, that's right. Coach, you got any stories on Coach Woods over here? I know you were kind of a youngster there when he was a little bit older.
No, I mean, just be honest, I was so young when those guys were there. Make myself feel good right now, Coach, But no, I think the biggest thing is like we were talking about, him playing offensive line and me playing a skill position, us really crossing paths in that realm just never really happened. We spoke some off the field just because, people like himself, Coach Bartram now, Mike Bartram, Troy Brown, those guys, they were always mentors to, regardless of what age you were. And that's the reason you see the success that Marshall has is because it's guys like those guys that was always reaching down and pulling guys like myself up.
Coach, we appreciate you coming on and talking about your community and everything. We wish you the best of luck tonight here in the game. And again, thank you so much. You guys got any questions for Coach Wood?
Sure. Who won the league this year?
The big school division was won by Sheridan. The small school was won by New Lexington.
Really?
Yeah, so we have 6 teams in each division, so we have 5 league games.
Right.
We finished,
know it well. Started my career.
We finished second to New Lexington. So, our kids have really bought into what our coach is selling, and they're working hard. Our community supports it. It's a lot of excitement right now with West Muskingum.
We know the feeling, right, Coach?
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So, you guys get anything else for Coach while he's here?
Can you talk a little bit about, so you guys said you were 40 straight losses, you got the 6 periods weightlifting, completely changing the program. What was that like from your role and seeing it evolve from ground zero till now, especially the visionary side of it? That's the part that Coach Cunningham had a similar transition here. But 40 straight, that's 4 years. How did that go?
Well, I wasn't involved with it at that time. I was at another school in the area. But I know that the reputation of West Muskingum wasn't positive in the area. And there was some change in the leadership in the district, and he had a vision. Our superintendent has a vision of what he wants to get accomplished, and he was able to bring people in to help him accomplish that goal. We have a booster group. I was telling Melvin, I know how jealous he is that we have a booster group. We have actually 2 booster groups, and they spend a lot of money on our kids, on our facilities to improve it. It's amazing. We put a $1.2 million turf and track in 2019. We hadn't had a home track meet in 15 years. And so and our boosters bought all new track equipment, $40,000 like that.
Wow.
Pads, hurdles, everything brand new. Football coaches need something, they get it. We got a new sled this year, uniforms, weight room equipment. They don't ask for the world, but they ask for what we need to get better, and our booster group support it. I asked, we're going to feed all of our kids pizza tonight. We got our band, our cheerleaders, a pep bus coming down and 2 football buses. we're going to have 125 kids, and our athletic committee said we'll pay for it. So we have that support. I think people are really excited because it's fun to see a football team compete. And we're lucky that we have people that want to see our athletes succeed.
And that's good. Every Friday night, football is kind of what drives the fall. Everybody concentrates on football. They cheer for everybody, but Friday nights where you get the huge crowds in your community, it really, really brings a community together these Friday nights. Coach, again, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck to you tonight. And we'll talk to you a little bit after the game.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
Sounds like we'll have a great game.
We're going to be joined by
will be.
our volleyball coach, Mary Haynes, here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about the volleyball season and how that wrapped up. Rickey, let's talk a little bit about, as far as playoffs and those sort of things here. 16 teams, that's new to what we've done here in the past. It went from 2 teams to 4 teams to 8 teams to now 16 teams. We had that 1 year of COVID in there where everybody made the playoffs if you wanted to join. Coach Harris was here, it was 4 teams, and we're fighting for our life to get in the top 4. And you pretty well knew you could not lose if you wanted to get in that top 4. 1993, we were able to get in that top 4. But before that, Ironton was kind of the one that was getting the playoff berth, because at that point in time, it was the top 2 in the AP poll. I believe it was getting in your region. So, how do you think that landscape change has affected high school football here in Ohio?
I mean, I think you look at it, 16 teams. I mean, you look at some of the teams in our D5 Region 19. You got a lot of teams that are solid football teams that wouldn't have got in under the old format. You're sitting there saying, hey, we got to go 9-1, 10-0 previously. Now you give yourself a little bit of leeway for a game that the kids might have not been up for or played down to, but now you made your path a heck of a lot tougher. Now if you're a 16 seed, you got to beat the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Then you're playing another top tier team. So it's changed the landscape of it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think your final 4 are going to tend to be the original 4 teams that would have made most brackets. But I think as a kid, it's awesome. There's nothing like playoff football for a high school kid and the community, and it gets everyone excited. So I think it's a great change OHSAA made.
Right. I agree. It gives a lot of communities a chance to host a playoff game, to be a part of it. I remember it was a special time when we were able to make it here for the first time in '93, and then again in 2000.
And I'm going to be honest and tell you that I never went to a high school volleyball game till this year. I might have seen some back in the day, but what a team to watch. They were so talented, gifted. You coached them up too, dear. I want to tell you that. And they were really fun to watch. And you did something this year that took 6 years to do it, but you're the only one that's done it, and that's beat Gallia Academy in a match. And we're very proud of you. And what you got coming back, and what's your outlook for the future?
I mean, the future's bright. It's painful when you lose a group of 5 talented seniors who you just love because they all bring something to your program. But when you know that there are girls who are there who are ready to fill their shoes and are like really excited about the opportunity to say, they started this, now we're going to keep it going. And we have 2 juniors who are awesome and energetic and very different in play. One's defensive, one's offensive. We have sophomores who are spread on the court. I mean, you looked at that team and people are like, oh yeah, the seniors are the great leaders, but these kids, we're working with them to make us as successful and are just going to keep pushing us through. And then, God, our JV group, holy crap, 21 straight wins. Like, it was almost like they had the jitters the first match of the year, got that out of their system, and then they were like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have lost. I don't know what was wrong with us, and just kind of was hard driven and turned it on. And 10 of those kids were freshmen.
Wow.
I mean, it's awesome. And I mean, to get compliments from people And I told Jeff this last time we talked about, hey, man, your JV team can beat varsity programs. And I was like, thanks. I'm really proud of them because they put in so much work. They're in the weight room. They're coming to open gyms. I mean, that's what it takes.
Yes.
So that's what they're doing.
I agree. Coach, again, we talked a little bit Sunday morning there about your program. Again, congratulations. Making it to the district semis this year, kind of a new atmosphere in D2, some uncharted waters for us and what we've done here in the past. Usually we're a D3 school. So to be able to get to that, kind of take us through that week's prep. You're playing a team that you're familiar with. Now we've got a 2-hour bus ride. What was the prep like during that week?
I mean, we had to stay focused. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we beat them, we're done. We had some of the best practices we had all year because these girls were like, we want to leave it all on the court. It was a lot of fun, too, because they were pushing each other, and we were working on blocking and making sure that we played anything off of the block, a touch off of it to be able to play that ball defensively. Just working on our angles to where we had our libero. Just for those of you who don't know, that's the funny color jersey. They only play defense. So just having her being able to pick up those balls and working on our serves. Our serves have been so consistent. Our serving percentage is crazy. As a team, I think we're in the 90 percentile, if not 89. I mean, we're really close. That's amazing. You really want all of your servers to be like that. It's our skill you can't throw off on anybody else. And that's what made us so successful during the season, too. And I think we have 5 girls in the top 10 in aces for the year. So that's what we worked on.
Right. Coach, your girls are going to have some of them are going to have 2 opportunities, but all your seniors are going to have an opportunity to go down on the 10th to Colgrove High School at 6 p.m. to play in that senior game. It's a completely different, it's more of a fun type atmosphere, fun game. I know you got to be involved with it a little bit last year from, kind of officiating and being around it. How important is it for our league to showcase those girls one more time?
I think it's great. I think that the OVC is not getting as much credit as credit's deserved to them because there are some amazingly talented girls who are bright. I mean, they're putting up the numbers in the classroom, not just on their stats. And these seniors are going to get highlighted at Colgrove. We had them here last year. I was blessed to coach that because I didn't even have any seniors. So It was kind of fun. I wasn't sitting there getting all weepy. I was just like, okay, it's your last hurrah. Let's have some fun. And we've got 5 girls going down there. I mean, I think it's going to be great to see all of them give it a go. And it'll be like a showcase. And that's what one of my players even said, hey, this is going to be like a showcase. I'm so excited. And I was like, that's exactly what it is. And we're going to be able to use that, too, to show people what you're capable amongst your peers in the conference, not just when we're playing games against the underclassmen, too.
Right. And again, you'll be one of the head coaches. You received that honor by winning the league. And congratulations on that again. We appreciate you coming on and talking to Coach and talking to all of us about your volleyball program and everything. We're super excited about what the future holds for you and your program here at Fairland. Again, we want to thank Wendy's, our sponsor, for today's pre-game meal, post-game meal, in-game meal. You guys usually get wings and cheese sticks and everything else up there in the press box. So today it's going to be a little bit of Wendy's, so we appreciate them. Coach Haynes, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us a little bit about it. And again, congratulations. And enjoy yourself here tonight watching some Fairland football. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You converted me.
Good.
As we're waiting on our next guest to make his entrance here, I guess I should say, he'll be here in a few minutes. Coach, we're going to kind of recap, and I know you said we talked a little bit before the game that you'd spend some time this week watching that playoff game from 1993. I had the experience to be a part of it as a player, kind of that whole week and that experience, and from breakfast every morning from somebody in the community to dinner every evening, because it was such a special time for the community, the school. Kind of take us through your week as the head coach that year.
Well, we tried to keep things normal as far as practice. We watched film on Monday, go out and run a little bit. Tuesday was a pretty hard-hitting day. Tuesday was a defensive day, I think, and Wednesday was an offensive day. Thursday was a light. But then you had to hit the highlights of, like, bonfire. We're going to have a bonfire. We're going to, got to go up on stage, give a speech and all that. But the excitement of it all is real. I can tell you this, Jermon Jackson was the real deal.
He was, Coach. He was.
But
I
I was especially impressed with you. I said, man, Gorby, see this? He said, where'd that go?
I told Jimmy Walker this past week, I said I had the opportunity to play against Jermon, and I remember on a punt where we punted, and being a long snapper, you get to that early release, and I remember touching him on the chest, and within, like that, he was 25 yards from me. I'd never been around a football player with that type of speed and just that type of specimen. You know, unfortunately, Jermon has passed on, but an outstanding player, not only for Ironton High School, but for our area. It was a great excitement. Now, you talked about pretty normal practice. I don't remember, Coach, I don't remember it being normal that week. It rained. I can't remember whether it was Tuesday night or Wednesday night. It rained.
You're right.
It felt like it was about 35 degrees. And I swear you called practice at about midnight. You said, all right, we've had enough. You kept saying one more play at 5, and it seemed like we were there another 8 hours. But just the experience, Coach, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me as a player.
You've done a lot on your own too, young man. You need to take credit for that.
I appreciate that. You know, what did that, you know, you talked a lot about what it meant to you. What did it mean for your community here to be able to go through that?
Coach, I was just up on cloud nine. You know, to be the first team in Fairland history to go to the playoffs. Of course, we had to start with Ironton, but we showed pretty well. I mean, we lost 22-8, or 22-6. Anyway, and we scored another one that was called back.
Right.
But anyway, we fared well. They were the class, and again this year they are the class of Southeastern Ohio. I mean, they were coached by a legend, Bob Lutz. And this Coach Pendleton's doing an outstanding job with them, using his kids in the way they should be used, I think.
Yeah. And you're right. You know, Coach Lutz being a legend down there, they had players. Not only they had Jermon, they had Wolfgang Kretzenberg, who went to Ohio University. They had the Guthrie kid that went somewhere down in Arkansas, Arkansas State or somewhere, and played quarterback. He ended up being an MMA fighter, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was some type of boxer. You know, just all kinds of kids. J.J. King, they had all kinds of kids that played at the next level. Excitement. The one thing I remember, other than the week of practice and everything else, was coming out of that tunnel at Portsmouth Spartan Stadium. I had, you know, people had told us you will have goosebumps on top of goosebumps, and I hadn't experienced that until I walked out down there. It felt like, I mean, it was the Super Bowl. You know, for all of us. And I've been in some huge situations as athletic director, but that one has stuck out to me to this day, the excitement of walking out of that. And the game was over. It felt like that quick. It felt like we snapped the ball and the game was over.
I tell you, it was, I don't know, you remember, I put in this razzle-dazzle play to start the game. And, of course, we have a false start after we kind of showed our hand just a little bit. And so I ran an off-tackle play to Bill next play, and I came back to the razzle-dazzle, and we hit Willie down the middle for about 35, 40 yards. And the crowd noise, I'll never forget the crowd noise. We had about 4,000 people there.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all yelling and screaming. That's why I'm watching it, man. Get that feeling, because it's that time of year, brother. It's time to win or go home.
It is. It definitely is. Coach Carroll, you know, I know you were assistant on that 2003 team. You actually in the press box during this 93 team. I think you were up there trying to hope you had your fingers crossed you weren't getting electrocuted with the amount of water pouring in the press box and all that. But
it was a little warmer up there than it was down on the field. I will give you that. And I was on the headset with Coach Harris that night.
We had some.
And that was an exciting time. It really was.
Well, I knew we was in the big time when I seen Ken Woodall. He had the line that went from my headset all wrapped up, and wherever I went, he let out a little line and walked down through there with me. I thought, man, this is big time.
It is. We got our next guest here, Cletus Judd. Cletus T.
He's got his Wendy's.
He stopped down there at Wendy's.
Y'all paying anything or what? I don't do nothing for free now. Hook me me up. Let's go.
We appreciate, Cletus, we appreciate you joining us tonight. This, you've been in the community now a few years here. I'm not sure how long, but I know you've been here a few years. You've lived in about, 150 different homes, but you've stayed in the community here.
Yep.
What's it been like coming into our community here at Carroll and being accepted here?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I did a video the other day on my Facebook page. It was taught when we went to the haunted trail over here.
Uh-huh.
And Amanda and I were just looking around, and I thought, man, there's so many people in the country deprived of what these small towns have to offer. They're sometimes hard to navigate. We might not have all the fancy accoutrements that some people may need on a daily basis, but I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't trade living in a small town I've lived in both. I've lived in the big cities and small towns, and wouldn't want to raise a kid nowhere other than a small town. And I made the analogy. I said, I might not know everybody in this line here, but if I had a 7-year-old son that got out of line and I saw a man up there 10 feet in front of me say, you get back in this line, I'm going to pop that butt, I would be okay with that, because I knew that he would have my best interest of my kid at heart. And it's unfortunately in some of the bigger cities, it's not that way.
Yeah.
So,
Coach, I get to call you Coach. You coach middle school soccer or middle school golf?
I can tell you, I ain't never coached soccer.
You coach middle school
No.
golf. And the community kind of accepted you. That not only our community, around the country, they were helping you out. You kind of put a call out. We needed some supplies. They helped out tremendously. Now your stepson, Jeremiah Pfizer, one of our better golfers this year.
Yeah.
Just named honorable mention all district, helped his team get to the district. What's it been like for you coaching Jeremiah and just coaching the kids here at Fairland?
Man, sports played such a major role in my entire life, not to get too personal, but when I was younger as a kid, my home life wasn't the best in the world. So sports and athletics gave me a way out. And had it not been for my high school basketball coach, my senior year, I would have never made it in life, period. I mean, he was so hard on me, put me in the hospital on my 17th birthday with a back injury, beat me half to death, made me wear a chalkboard around my neck. Not in at the practice, but during the day. I literally would walk through class because I couldn't remember the plays. The anxiety was horrible. But he was really, at the end of that year, he was the only man that ever truly believed in me as a person. I didn't have a father figure in my life at that time. And without him, I would have never known, when I was a kid, I wanted to play college basketball. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I knew that I didn't have probably the athletic skills to do it. In my senior year, I literally mailed letters to myself from other schools just to impress my mother, that said, hey, look, South Dakota State's want me. Well, they didn't really want me. But that being said, I played a lot, and thanks to that guy, I went on to play college basketball at Reinhardt Methodist College on a full scholarship. And without coaching and without that influence, I would have never made it in life, period.
And I've had the opportunity to sit down and listen to you talk to some of our teams. Very moving story. We got two famous Marshall alumni guys on each sideline tonight, and right. Coach Wood and Melvin. And I know you kind of had a tie to one of the Marshall alumni guys.
I did. And still do to this day. Right. The all-time leading scorer at Marshall up until Elmore took it a few years ago. Skip Henderson. The great Skip Henderson was and is to this day one of my very best friends. I battled Skip for years. Skip always got the better end of the deal, I can tell you. But I tell you, that's a prime example of a kid that if you'd have told me in 1981, 2, 3, when we were all in high school, that Skip would be faced with life in prison for the rest of his life, I would have never believed it. But that you get off on that wrong exit, and sometimes you can't find your way back. And I still love Skip. I still talk to Skip weekly, and hope that someday he'll be able to get out and right his wrongs and do something great for the community.
That's good. That's good. Again, we appreciate everything you've done for our community here. We love having you around. You're always a hoot, and you come in and talk to me at ball games. I love having conversations with you. We appreciate you. We're going to keep you on the show, though.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to talk
Yeah.
about some
Where's
other
the
things
food?
here.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a question for him.
Sure.
He's a historian.
Historian, yes.
Well, at the cistern at his new house,
yes.
he is dipping out old
Dangest thing I've ever
bottles
seen
of drugs I've ever seen.
in my life. When we bought that house, you know, some people had told us stories. You know, you have hearsay, and we love old historical homes like that. And I finally opened up that cistern, and I thought, what in the I'm going to prison. I better call somebody and let them know. And you know, I went down to the hardware store, Kenny Queen. I bought a swimming pool net, put it on the end of my pole for my swimming pool, and for about the next 3 hours, I just got bottles of pills that were thrown away. They think back in the 1950s, a drug rep lived there, and his wife supposedly had been getting into his stash, and he had had enough, and so he threw them all away. And here it is, 40, 50 years later, we found them. And I've gotten out so far, right at 2 full wheelbarrows full of pills. The pills still in the bottle. They're disintegrated pretty much. The cotton's still in there, and there's probably another 500 or so in there. But I've had calls from Switzerland. One yesterday was from London, wanting to do stories on, you know, I put it on my TikTok and it went viral in about 5 minutes, and I think it's up to like 3 million views. And most of them are people wanting to buy them. I can tell you, but, they're not. I did call the Proctorville police and say, hey, I ain't selling this. What do you want me to do with it? So
great.
it was crazy. Yeah, I've never saw, that's the craziest find I've ever found in an old
Well, did you
historical home.
have bottles from all over the place? And when was there stuff from?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the name of the company was Sanyos, I think, which was started in the late 1800s and has since been bought out by Pfizer. And we sent emails to them, and you know, of course, we'll do the right thing with them when the time comes. But yeah, it's the craziest sight I've ever seen. As long as I don't pull an arm out of there or nothing, I can handle it. If the arm comes out, the house is for sale. I can tell you.
Well, you know, Coach, I got to tell another story about him, and he probably doesn't remember.
Uh-oh.
But he was over there in Huntington one day, and he was doing a show, and he had just given a car to a young lady.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A very deserving young lady.
Ooh.
And I know he said the Lord just told me to give it to her, and said talk to Manna, and said that's what we did. But anyway, I stopped over. I'd been working that day, driving the tomato truck, and I stopped over and saw you, and I just stopped and I said thank you.
You did?
And I appreciate that for her because, as I said, that was a very deserving young lady, and that's somebody with a big heart right there. You didn't have to do that, and you did.
Well,
and that meant a lot to me.
I can top that. Man gave a family a home. Him and
Oh, you're
Brandon
gonna choke
kids.
me up now. I just saw
Yeah.
Charlie down there a while ago, and
Okay, but you know, I mean, he is got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
And people don't realize, they see the funny side of him. They don't see that other side.
I'm telling you.
There's
I've
been-
known this guy, and he doesn't realize it since Jamboree in the Hills.
Oh,
I don't know
God.
what Jamboree in the Hills
I can't
is.
hardly
He'll-
remember that day.
But he was the master of ceremonies that whole 4 days.
I was there with Keith Urban, and Brad Paisley was there, and you know, Bree, the young lady that
Neil McCoy was there, too.
Neil was there, but Bree, the young lady that I gave the car to, you know, I had that car for forever. It brought me back and forth from Florida to see Caitlin, and Bree came out and she said, hey, Barry, you know, that's my real name. She said, I'll give you my paycheck for the next 12 months. She said, I don't make a lot, but I give you my paycheck for the next 12 months. And then when I get the car paid for, you can give me the title. I said, so you give me your paycheck? She said, yes, sir. And I knew then, when she said that, I knew what I was going to do. And, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 car at this point in my life, you know, ain't going to make or break me one way or the other.
But that was still a nice car.
Yeah, it's super nice. It was a Lexus, you know, LS 430, had maybe 175,000 miles on it. Great car. But the joy that she shown, you know, on the video did not match the feeling in my belly to be able to do such a small gesture. It just sometimes, you know, I've been so gifted and I've had it gave to me and people have helped me, and sometimes, you know, you just want to do
You
That
want to pay it
deserves a
forward.
pat on the back.
Yeah,
brother.
you just do, and it's a great feeling, and I hope it helped Charlie and them, and of course Brandon Kitts, who does so much for the school too, helped me with that, and that's what you're saying, Jeff, about being in a small town. So very rarely can you call up a buddy and say, hey, listen, I got this idea, and there's a family here that's probably deserving of a home. The kids, they just deserve that. And I said, I just bought an old house in Athalia, and I'm thinking about remodeling it and giving it away. And Brandon said, what time you want to get started? And the next day we're at Lowe's buying material and so forth. And we worked on that thing for 3 or 4 months. And that Christmas Eve that we gave it to Charlie and his family was
It was great.
You can't hurely, I don't have no words. But the
Get a
moral of
chance,
that
it's
story is
awesome.
being able to call a buddy up when most people say, well, hell, I ain't got that kind of money, or I can't give away, buy the material. He never flinched. And he said, what time you want to get started? And I always say front row seats are reserved for mamas, second rows for daddies. And I hope at the end of my time, he might give me one somewhere in the balcony. That's what I'm shooting for right there.
Hey, you mentioned Brandon. Brandon does so much for our community.
Oh, absolutely.
My scoreboard. We're putting up a new scoreboard here, and one day I look down there and Brandon's up on a ladder working on the scoreboard. And I walk down there and said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I just drove by. These guys were needing some help. I just grabbed the ladder. He had 2 or 3 of these guys here, and they were up on the scoreboard working around." I can't say enough. He helped put the new roof on our weight room and our locker room. He's always drives by, something's loose. Something, he just jumps out
don't
and
have
fixes
to call
it.
him probably
Right,
if he
I don't have to call
notices
him.
that he's got and before I get out of here, since we're sitting here at a football game, I have to tell you my best football story. Now, I'm a basketball fanatic, played my whole life. I only played football to get the jacket. Never got the letter. I finally get a jacket, and next year they changed the school colors. It was my luck. But look here, I was slow, couldn't jump over in the Thalia phone book. I could shoot a basketball, but I could punt. I could kick, and I kicked barefooted. And so we were playing. I worked all summer going into my senior year. I mean, I bet I kicked enough. My foot stayed swollen that whole summer. And we were our rivalry is Cartersville, where Skip went. And Skip was the quarterback. He was a junior, and I was a senior. Huge rivalry. It been raining a little bit that afternoon. The stadium was packed. We go 3 and out. Coach Murphy says, "Get in there and kick it." And I went in. They hiked it. I kicked it. It kicked it behind me. Kicked it straight back over my head. Went out of bounds. Went into the stands, and I never played another down.
That's a good one.
I stuck to basketball after that.
Again, Cletus, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank
It's
you,
a
Jeff.
great
I
time.
appreciate all y'all.
Everything you do for our community. Thank you so
thank
much.
you
We
for
appreciate
having me.
it.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you, my
Oh, you
friend.
too. Thank you.
We'll kind of turn it over to Rickey Shifko here. Again, we're going to thank you so much to Wendy's of Proctorville for your sponsorship and helping us out. Again, we're going to kind of turn it over to Rickey and let him talk about some things.
Yeah, so actually it's going to be an interesting segment for a lot of people. We're actually going to talk to athletic director here at Fairland, Jeff Gorby, about what it means to be the athletic director during the playoffs, what his week looks like, what all he's in charge of, because a lot of times people think they just have to be at these events, but they don't know what all goes into it. So Jeff, go ahead and start from, Friday night, Fairland wins the game against Chesapeake. They find out they're going to be hosting a home playoff game. What's the prep start from Saturday till Friday? So Saturday night, what's it look like for you getting everyone lined up, getting geared up?
Actually, Rickey, it started Friday night. Once the final horn went off here, we started watching the internet. We started watching the different projections coming out, where we're going to be. We're getting emails right after the game. If you're a host site, you got to do this Zoom call 4 o'clock on Sunday. So we start about Saturday afternoon. We're pretty secure. Know we're the 7th seed. Know we're going to be hosting West Muskemee. We start getting our social media stuff together, putting that out. We start making phone calls. Now we got to have schedules. I got to get schedules for our printers so that these guys have schedules up in the press box to call the game. So it's not really, a lot of downtime. Sunday afternoon, we have a Zoom meeting. We start talking with a high school. just what you can do. You're a host. Ohio High School is allowing you to host the game. We don't get any money from the ticket sales or anything like that. They're just allowing us to host the game. So there's some things there that we got to do. We've got I think it's about 92-page manual. We've kind of got to know it front and back, and it has nothing to do with what's going to happen between these lines tonight. It's everything around us, from ticket sales to band times, even the live streaming. I got to go through 3 different companies to make sure they're not coming to stream our game before we get to it. So it's a lot of pressure. Monday, we start putting things out there, all right? This is when tickets are going to be on sale. They're going to be on sale at 7 p.m. And we just kind of work through it. There's nothing normal about this week. The excitement from the community, different things. I was very fortunate that I kind of had a slower week. I had a volleyball game on Wednesday night. I had to go to Athens for that. We left at 3 o'clock. We got back in about 9:30, 10 o'clock that night. So take a little bit of time away from football Wednesday, go enjoy some volleyball, come back here. So we're pretty well nonstop. I hit the ground running every morning here. I walk in the building about 7:15 a.m. and it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock before I get to p.m. before I get to shut the phone off and sit down. I know you and I have a lot of talks. Coach Carroll and I have a lot of talks. And we're just trying to get this show together and everything else going on. Coach Wood, we talked to earlier, I bet he and I have texted 250 times in the last 48 hours, just making sure our time schedule. We're meeting with officials. Before this show, I'm meeting with officials, getting them on here. We worked on this Dragon Thursday night, I believe it was. Yeah. Thursday night. We bring this Dragon down. My brother-in-law, Josh, who is a man of many talents. Cletus, you probably need to get a hold of him, son. If he can't fix it, it can't be fixed. He's got grandma's needle out. He's got a curved needle out. He's stitched.
I don't know why you haven't had him on here to talk to.
Well, yeah. He's bashful. He's bashful.
Well, and I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, first of all, I say it all the time, Jeff's probably the most underappreciated man in the entire district as the athletic director. Talk a little bit about what you do for the student athletes in terms of social media. So many kids nowadays, hey, let's get my Instagram going. Let's get my Twitter going. Talk about the Fairland social media aspect of running the athletic program that you're responsible for.
One of the things that when I took this job, social media was just starting to blow up. A lot of high schools weren't doing it yet. I went to some meetings. I don't have a marketing degree. I got an education degree. But I surrounded myself with some marketing people and understood that, hey, this is where we're going. We're Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. This is where it's going. So we created a Twitter page the first week I was a high school athletic director. And we've evolved. We're over, I think, about 1,800 followers now. And as that's evolved, we've started, all right, now we've got to create athletes of the week. That's where you kind of come into the picture. We honor a male and female athlete every Monday morning. We put it out there who had a great performance throughout the week. We honor those. We went with Karen Towig, I believe is her name. I apologize if I said it wrong. Her and Hannah Gamiri did an athlete spotlight for us, so that we had to go out and get that. So we're developing those every Monday morning for about an hour. We're making those social media blasts. We're putting our schedules out there. Where's everybody playing at? We're honoring kids if they have a big. Isabella James had a hole-in-one at the sectional golf match, so we're getting stuff out on her. Cheerleaders, if they have something huge going on, fundraiser. We're always working. I sit down today, even though football was tonight, so I'll make a blast about where to get football tickets. Also our cross-country team tomorrow. I can't forget those guys. Brody Buchanan, Owen Baker, Molly Dunlap, running in the regional cross-country meet. So I've got to get things out there to say, hey, look, you guys have done a great job. Good luck tomorrow. So we're always getting that out there. Coach Carroll does a good job of getting out the streaming aspect of it. A big shout out to Jerry and his class. They've taught me more in the last year and a half about social media. They've taught an old dog new tricks, I should say. So I can't say enough about those guys. And it's exciting. When I brought this show to Jerry last week or 2 weeks ago and said, hey, Jerry, I'd like to do a little pregame show. And when do you want to do it? And who do you want on the show? It wasn't anything else. And so I appreciate Jerry for that and allowing us to bring this to you guys. And when Coach Harris and Coach Carroll get up there in the box a little bit, bringing that to us. We appreciate you guys. I'd let Coach Harris send out some tweets, but I don't even think he knows how to get on Twitter.
Hey, we're lucky to send a link out. But hey, guys,
Just hit share.
hey, have you guys gotten a Rickey Shifko shirt, T-shirt?
You know what? I asked Amanda. I just texted her and I said, "Have we got a Rickey Shifko?"
I don't have a
And she
Rickey
said, "I don't
Shifko
think we got one." Now,
Jeff
how's
Gorby
Amanda
said
get one of
somebody
them?
holding me back a Maryland football T-shirt.
I have them. You haven't come by and picked them up.
Oh, okay.
I tell you, I got a new one.
I do want to let you know, I walked a while ago, I was looking for this old thing, and I walked into the closet, and guess what shirt I found in there? It's got a couple holes in it, but 1993 Maryland football shirt.
Great.
That's vintage right there.
You know, next year will be 30 years since that happened, Jeff.
How many years?
30.
Oh, Coach. Your math's
1993.
horrible.
Did y'all win it all in '93?
2023.
That's crazy.
How many is that?
It's about.
He was my math student. He can't count that high.
Did y'all win it all that year?
We went to the state playoff for the first time in school history.
We only allowed 4 in.
We
So you
played
had to be in the top
Ironton
4
and lost
to get
28-6.
in. The next year we go 9-1
And
don't
don't
even
get a
get
smell.
sniff.
We go 9-1 2 years in a row. Second year,
Not even
nothing.
close. Not even close.
I played 4 years of basketball, 4 years of baseball, 4 years of football, and won 6 games in all of it. So I don't want to hear nothing out of y'all. Yeah. Our coach would walk by and say, "Keep your head up." And I said, "No, I don't want nobody knowing me down here. I'm not keeping my head up. No."
No, we had some great times. We were very, very fortunate. I played with some great athletes. I was just a part of it. I look back at Michael Jackson, who's the assistant coach here, Mark Hinkle, who has been the assistant coach, Wormley, J.D. Dinwiddie, who's the head coach down in the Carolinas, T.J. Henson. I mean, I can go on and on. Josh
I didn't
Shorey.
realize how much he ran the ball. We ran him the ball on that little counter.
Yeah.
And there were some great guys. You know, I'm going to give a shout out to some boys that I never gave a shout out to when I was honored or shouting out to 93 tonight. And I'm telling you, it was Ryan Hager big in that, Chris Hamlin. And guess who our special teams guy was? Guess who our Garrett defense was? Who? Travis Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a name you haven't thought
Yeah.
about, isn't it?
I'm glad we have sound on
There's
them
Brandon
DVDs.
right there.
You know, we had. It's funny you say that. Coach Harris took over 1993. We had a conversation. I played center. When I say I buck 49 tops is what I weighed at the time. I was about 6 foot tall, 149 pounds, and.
But you know, we had them big shoulder pads.
Oh yeah,
back
you
then.
it
You
looks
look
a lot
like
bigger.
a stud.
Look like a lot bigger, yeah. And Coach come in, I think it was first practice or something, and asked me, he said, "Can you shotgun snap?" I probably looked at him like he had 3 heads. I'd never shotgun snapped in my life, and by golly, by the end of the season, I think we were in shotgun quite a bit, Coach, and it was a great opportunity to play for you, and it's so much fun. We always know whatever Florida State was running on Thursday night, you better get ready because you're going to draw it up on Friday in the dirt for us.
I loved it, man. That was probably the most special memory I've had coaching here, being a coach here. Is that, and I was hired on as a basketball coach, so that's how much it means to me. The football season of '93 will be the most special thing in my heart.
It's like you say, I see a lot of those guys. We're still close friends, and some of those guys live throughout the country. We see each other, and it's a hug, and we pick up just like we were back in the locker room yesterday together. So you meant a lot to us, and we appreciate everything.
You know what I always say, Coach? When you're a football team, even though you kick the ball backwards,
Got to bring that up again.
you're bonded for life.
Yeah.
It's a brotherhood like no other.
You
Just like Coach Wood and Coach Cunningham were talking about. It's a brotherhood. It's a bonding for life.
I've always said that, you can sweat with somebody in the basketball gym, but the minute you play football with them and you bleed in the trenches with somebody, it's a different bond. And I've always felt that, Coach Dinwiddie gets to come in about once a year, and it's a special moment. He and I spent how many snaps right side by side, and different calls and different things, and we still pick up. And it's funny, he still, I believe, he still always stands to the right side of me because that was the side he played the whole time he was beside me. So it's always funny that those things work out. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to kind of get off of here, guys. I got to get ready for the game. I appreciate you guys having me on. Again, I'm going to let Rickey finish up some things with some different picks. Cletus, again, I appreciate you so much.
Thank y'all for having me. Thanks, Rick.
Stick around down here. We'll have some fun tonight.
Let's do some picks. We don't have much time.
I can tell you, I was in the
bracket.
Wendy's a while ago, and boy, they asked me, who you pulling for? And I said, well, they said, I got 2-1, says they won't win. They were from the other team, you know, of course, but I think we got them.
I'm just getting D5 Region 19 pulled up. We'll go through all 8 games tonight and get our picks in. So.
As long as Georgia wins tomorrow, I'm all right. That's we got to go with Georgia.
Who they playing?
They play Florida tomorrow.
Florida's a big game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a big one. 3:30 in Florida too, or Gainesville.
All right.
You know, Barry, you're welcome to come up halftime and join us if you want to and give us some entertainment.
You don't want me up there. I'll run off the crowd you got.
Hey, people at home would like to hear from you, honestly.
Man, I tell you, there's nothing like it, though.
Oh, I'll tell you, I never thought that
Yeah.
I'd be doing something like
All right,
this.
so the first game we got is the 1 seed Ironton and the 16 seed Minford. So Barry, we'll go ahead and go with you first. Ironton or Minford? Who you
And,
got?
you know, I think Ironton's a powerhouse. They're loaded to the gills. I don't know much about Minford, but I would absolutely, no matter the point spread, I'd go with Ironton.
Yeah. Coach?
What he said.
Ironton, after the first quarter, it'll be over.
Yeah.
Hey, we're clean sweep for Ironton in the first one.
Yeah.
8-9 matchup. We got Union Local and Portsmouth at Union Local. Coach Carroll, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Get them, Coach.
Well, I just tell you that, I think that's going to be a tough pick. I really do. You know, I think if Portsmouth shows up like they did against us that night,
Yeah.
then I think they're going to win. Now, that depends. And like I told you guys, you know, halftime I walked downstairs and those guys in the press box said, man, this is the best game these guys, or best half they played all year. And they played flawless football, Coach.
It ended up being the
So,
best game they played.
I'm going to tell you, if they play like that tonight, they're going to win that ball game. And guess what? They're going to pull it tonight. I'm going to go with Portsmouth.
Portsmouth.
Yep.
I don't know anything about Union Local.
They're good.
They're an 8, and you're versus a 9. That's a toss-up, but I'm nothing against you people in Portsmouth. I'm going Union Local.
I play a lot of golf at Portsmouth Elks, so that's my reasoning. I'm going to go with Portsmouth.
And I'll go ahead and I'll go with Union Local with Coach Harris, so we'll go 2-2 on that one.
There you go.
Now we got the 4-13 matchup.
Uh-oh.
Centerburg and Columbus Academy.
Columbus Academy.
Academy?
Yeah, anything that's got Academy behind it, I go with them. I don't care who they're playing.
Academy.
Yeah.
I'm going Centerburg.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Academy, and I think that upset's a popular one, kind of like your tournament bracket, your 12-5. Now we're on the 12-5, actually. Got Portsmouth West, whose one loss this year was here, week 1, versus Northwest.
I think they've gotten better than they were when we played them, and it was a great game. Great game. It's 14-13. Missed extra point, you know. So, but what they did to Wheelersburg last week, they made a believer out of me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going Portsmouth West.
Same here.
Portsmouth West.
Portsmouth West in a sweep. All right. The winner of this game will face the winner of this one. So we got Harvest Prep, the 2 seed, and Meg's the 15 seed. Who we like there?
Harvest Prep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's too much of a gap there to make up. Two seeds hard to go down.
Yep, I agree.
They are. There's a reason they're a 2 seed.
I'm thinking we need to find our directions on how to get to Harvest Prep next week.
Prep's a darn good football team. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
All right. We'll end with this game. So we got 2 more. The 3 seed Barnesville, the 14 seed Piketon. Piketon had to win last week to get in.
Barnesville.
Barnesville.
Yeah, probably so. I don't know much about either one of those. That's a little out of my bracket, but I'll go with Barnesville.
Barnesville's pretty good.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about the 6-11 matchup? We got Willersburg and Heath.
Heath is right between Columbus and Zanesville. They've traditionally had pretty good teams, but I'm going to go with the higher seed.
Going Berg?
Berg.
Yeah. They got a good student section.
I'll agree with that one, and I'll go with Berg as well. All right, the final one of the night, the one we're all here for tonight. The 7-seed Fairland coming in at 7-3. The 10-seed West Muskingum at 8-2. Who you guys like and why?
I'd like to know a little bit more about the team we're playing. I don't know much about them.
Well, I'm going to tell you what.
Give me a little bit of
3 and
3-minute
31
scoop.
are absolute studs.
They're 8-2, and they've won 5 in a row.
Let me see. When I walked through the gate to come down here with y'all, I looked over and I thought, man, they're really small. But that's so deceiving in pregame.
Speed kills.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure they're loaded with it. There's no way in the world I could ever go against Fairland. No, I just couldn't do it. I think it'd be a great game. I think we're going to see a lot of running tonight on Fairland's end.
Yeah, West Muskingum, they run a zone offense.
Yeah.
They get their guys on the edge. 31 ran for over 1,000 yards.
Oh, wow.
Threes had some big numbers too. So they're a good football team. And you know what's hurt them is the 8 games they won. They beat teams that have won a total of 18 games. So that's what's hurt them as an 8-2 team getting the 10 seed. A little bit of background on them there.
Yeah, that's good to know.
So we got one in at Fairland.
Yep.
Okay, Fairland's been there. They got a lot of kids that's been there a few times. And this team is supposedly kind of young. I'm happy for them that they went 8-2 because the coach was talking about a 40-game losing streak. That's a 4-year losing streak.
Yeah.
So
I'm familiar. I know. You ain't telling me nothing, Coach.
Anyway, I just feel like Fairland's got just enough speed. They've got enough speed to hang with their speed. So I'm thinking high-scoring affair.
I like that. I hope Cam Kidd stays healthy. I think Cam could have a big night tonight.
I've got a couple.
For some reason, I just got a gut feeling if he can stay
he's
healthy.
had a rough year.
Yeah,
He's
I
had
agree.
an illness he's had to battle.
Yep.
He's had injuries he's had to battle. I can't wait to see him play.
There's going to come a game where he's going to change the perception of everybody because he's got the goods. I know he's been unhealthy. But man, he gets in that open field. He's hard to handle. Fast.
Dave, who you got?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. I think the game tonight is going to boil down to line play. I really do. I feel like we have skilled people, but I really feel like it's going to boil down to the line. And I'm going to tell you what, we got some senior linemen on that line, and I don't know that it's going to be a really high-scoring game, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But I think Fairland's going to come out on top. I think the experience of being here and doing this is what's going to bring us through.
I haven't seen any of their linemen, but I'm telling you, they better be studs.
Yeah.
Because our defensive line
We've got some.
has been playing lights out,
Yes.
except for the Portsmouth game. I mean, you're talking, this is game number 11. They have played well in at least 9. They even played well against Ireton, which they lost.
Yes.
But I think our lines, like you say, it's going to come down to that.
It's going to be fun to watch.
And let's say this too, guys. And, I'll say line play, but you know what? When you get to playoff football, turnovers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got to protect that football.
I thought about that today, how I was going to pick, and I thought probably the best way to say it is you got 2 pretty good teams. They're on a 5-game winning streak. We're on a modest 2-game winning streak after that debacle at Portsmouth. But I think you're right in the fact that it's going to come down to turnovers and penalties.
And see, I didn't even
Turnovers and
say
penalties.
that,
Yeah,
but
The
you're
team
right.
that
absolutely.
doesn't make those,
Yep.
that doesn't bam in the foot, they'll be okay.
I know. Well, guys, we got to go. Coach,
Should
we
be
got
fun to
7
watch.
minutes.
All right, should be a good night.
All
Thanks
righty.
for having me on, buddy.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank
Thank you, Jerry Bell.
That's right. And everybody there, guys, thank you, Wendy's. We got 7 minutes. Tune in upstairs YouTube. Thanks to Rickey, Shifko, Coach Gorby, all of our guests. And we will see you guys in about 7 minutes.